we are asking you to leave immediately so the industry can go through and remove the logs that are on the ground.
Okay. Make sure that they all understand that it is
Close by Peter Capel, that this is a temporary control area, and we've been asked to leave so they can come in and take the logs on the ground. That was what was said to me, and that's what we agree to, I think. They can take the logs on the ground. We don't agree with putting Kevin or Nick in any danger whatsoever by falling trees. So that's why we're leaving, okay?
We were told that they were just going to remove logs that were on the ground, and as soon as we left they started felling. We felt betrayed by Calm, we were lied to, and we lost the whole block.
We came and drove around and saw it for ourselves, and it was just like, no way. They couldn't possibly.
Well, it was really exciting because a really small group of us set it up, and what was great was that we were right on the South West Highway, and so our prime focus, or one of them, was community education, whereby we were taking people every day down through the 200 metre buffer zone from the highway down to a clear fell and showing them what was going on behind closed doors, basically, in forest management in the southwest.
Wattle formed the link between two major national parks, the Shannon and Mount Franklin. Once logged, the only significant wildlife corridor that would remain was a 200 metre strip bordering the highway.
What did you think of what you saw? Rather disappointing. They destroy it for just short-term gain. Do you think that should we be shocked? Will this thing happen in your country? No, because we don't have forests like that. So we use production forests to get wood for paper, for whatever is necessary.
You get that sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Morning.
All right, first of all, I've got to do the caution. I'm a CALM officer from the Department of CALM. You don't have to say anything, but anything you do say will be taken down and may be used in evidence. You understand the caution?
I thought we were meant to get those warnings, in order to give us a little bit of time to pack up.
I think you have had warnings before.
Have we had warnings this time around? I haven't had anybody come out and warn me.
And getting woken up like at least twice a week by CALM officers with big lights and video cameras dragging us out of our bed at 5 o'clock in the morning to tell us we were illegally camping in the bush. Well, it was the first time I ever felt there was an enemy, because that's how CALM chose to react to us, by putting on their big personas and coming along and saying, we're the enemy and here's the bright lights. Here's your bits of paper. And it was just like, oh, they think they're the enemy, okay.
If you do not wish to have the complaint of the offence heard and determined by court, you may pay the modified penalty of $50. Thank you.
You just leave your camera there, mate, please. This is a briefing. I think it's only right that
I
you
believe I'm legal. Could you please speak to my liaison officer here?
Well, I'm just asking you to move out of my face, all right? So you move over there, please. Otherwise, you'll be the first one in the back of the van.
For what?
Because you're hindering me, because you're directing the camera under the briefing, all right?
That is a hindering, is it?
Basically, just move over there, please.
I have to advise you, if you don't comply with my requirement, you can be arrested under Section 82B3 of the Police Act for preventing lawful activity of these workers. And also, if anybody interferes with us, we can charge it with hindering us in the
When more people started to find out what was really going on, and when our ongoing commitment to non-violence kind of achieved that, because we kept focusing on the real issue and there wasn't violence to distract from the issue.
This is for the forest. It's so important that people take a stand to prevent our old growth forests from being logged. It's a sacrilege what's going on here. It's an absolute crime.
From the time logging began in Wattle, stop work actions occurred daily to slow the clear felling as much as possible. Over 80 people were arrested during the 2.5 months before the workers retreated. And now 2/3 of the area they plan to log still stands today.
Like the main thing that's in the media at the moment is about the EPA saying that CALM aren't living up to their ministerial conditions, and this is a condition that they're supposed to comply to. Yeah? So I think like some of the evidence is trying to get that story into the media. Yeah? That they want to come around, they want to come over that culvert there, and they're going to have to do some work to do it. I've read out the regs to the guy, the CALM guy who's in charge. Yeah, and the media are on to getting a story about that. A real atmosphere, like everyone was trying to figure out what we could do with the law, who was actually responsible for the people that were in the bush while trees had been falling. We didn't expect them to fall trees while people were in there. It's like, you know, you could hear, you were standing there next to a policeman and you could hear one of your mates calling out, and then seconds later a tree would fall right next to them. And you're saying to this cop, you know, what's going on? This is a really dangerous situation. There must be something that you can do, that you are obliged to do about this.
Do you think that's safe what they're doing in their way?
I know that when the first tree was felled, I would consider that it was safe, yes. That one there I had nothing to do with, so I can't say.
You can see it, it's so close to your trucks there.
It just became more and more clear that what was going on in the bush just wasn't right, and people couldn't ignore it any longer.
The prime of the tree is 150 years, is it not?
I don't know.
So when
that's you
well,
said
shouldn't
that,
you know if you're the head of the chopping down
if
department?
it's such an old tree, what is the point of cutting it down if it's not prime timber?
But it is. It will make prime timber.
And there's one tree down there with the great big hole in the butt.
It will make prime timber.
It's already been cut down.
Which one?
Oh, there's another cathedral tree that was cut down that's apparently going to be left there because it won't be used. It hasn't even been cut into sections to take away.
Just felled and left.
Just felled and left. Yeah, on Saturday. So,
well, actual fact, you seem to know more about it than me, so I don't know why you keep asking me the questions.
Well, you're the one that's chopping the trees
down. Because we are so concerned
that somebody's chopping the trees down, and there's no
this is irreplaceable old growth forest, and there is so little of it left. We've got desecration there, desecration there, desecration as far as the eye can see.
Where do you think Liz Davenport is? Good question. Do you think she's lost? Worried? Her husband's gone within the block to look for her. He's had no success. We haven't spotted her since just after 7 this morning.
What she's managed to do is colour coordinate all the ferals on this occasion where they've got Liz Davenport designed t-shirts, and one has to wonder if there's just another stage publicity stunt by a high profile person trying to further raise their profile at the expense of the timber workers.
For the first time, there are enough active people for us to sustain a number of camps as well as carry out short-term actions throughout the forest. At the same time, a traditionally conservative element of the WA community began to take an active role.
These people came in the bush, walked right up the tree that I was falling, which is against one of our laws. You're not allowed to come anywhere near us, number 4 trees. Walked right at me. They stopped me. Now they won't even let me drive the ute away. They say it's nothing personal. Well, they should go and see Richard Court, not me.
Rob Lewis, who's the Shire President of Denmark, is just sitting in the coop behind one of those machines and he's not prepared to move.
Yeah, I understand that, and it's no disrespect for you or the law, but I'm afraid.
That then means, of course, that you're not going to be here stopping what you want to stop because you're going to be in my custody.
I thought I would make a personal stand and try and actually stop things from actually happening in the forest, which I've done. We've stopped the logging operations here today.
This world is a precious place to be. It's not a TV show. There's nowhere else to go. You want to live in outer space. No, we'll start wrecking this place.
I think that determination and that courage that people demonstrated is what attracted so many other people to the campaign and what spurred people in the city into action.
The people occupying this building behind me must realise that they will not get away with false concessions and new committees any longer.
They are not, and I emphasise not, a renewable resource.
Harvesting operations are about to commence in Wattle harvesting coop. Any unauthorised persons in the temporary control area are directed to make their way to the boundary road immediately.
One of the policemen said to me, oh, well, I've done everything that I've got to do, you know, I've covered all the regulations I've got to cover, I've sent my men out there, they've looked, they've scouted, they've called, they haven't seen anybody, and it's your people who are being irresponsible, and that it was that whole your people thing that he was trying to do, you know, trying to make out as if there was somebody who was leading this whole adventure so that he could bust them for conspiracy.
Well, we're satisfied with that.
You've heard the machine, you've heard the whistles right by the machine.
As Greg spoke to before, he explained the whole situation to him, so I don't think it's going to be a game.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about the safety
standing there,
measures.
Greg explained it all to you, right? And you know exactly what he said?
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
I just don't feel the safety measures being taken are being effective.
What did he say?
It's meant to be for your own safety, but I was in there and they were scrub rolling and the timberjack was going. So, yeah, it's not for safety reasons, it's all just to keep protesters out.
Little stunts like that, of course, will get a bit of coverage, but they will not deter the Australian government or the Western Australian government from informing the Australian people, and most particularly the people of Western Australia, that the Regional Forest Agreement is a very balanced result between jobs and the protection of important forests.
You haven't got a friend in this building. There will be war between us, and that's where I stand on it.
Packing up or what? Are you packing up? That's what you got to do, pack up and stuff there. You got 5 minutes.
All right, can we just stop for a second and let the child leave? Can I just let the baby leave?
Start now.
I just want the child to be able to leave so everyone can just sit out for 2 minutes. It's not going to...
Fuck off, out of there.
I'm just going to get the child, all right? I've got one thing to say.
Don't want to hear what you've got to fucking say. I don't want to hear what you've got to say. Your opinion means fuck all to me.
I'm sorry about what's happening to you.
Oh, bullshit. Well, why are you fucking still here? Fuck off.
Car after car after car of workers was arriving in waves almost, and it ended up being around 40 workers coming. Some were wearing balaclavas, most of them had some form of implement, some were baseball bats, sledgehammers, axes, etc., and they refused to communicate, they weren't making eye contact, they weren't using names, as some of them do actually know us from previous actions, and they were just basically intent on destruction.
police were informed on the Friday that we had fairly solid information that this was what was going to happen. It was also printed in the Australian paper that a move to the camps by the timber workers was fairly much the next move after their 10-day standoff on Parliament House steps. I'm really angry at the politicians who have fuelled the flames of this for the last 10 days. I mean, the timber workers have literally been on the doorstep of Parliament. They're taking their distress to the city, and that I acknowledge and admire. What I don't admire is politicians standing before these timber workers who don't have any security in their industry. Those politicians have stood there and incited this sort of thing, you know, encouraged this sort of thing to happen. And I'm wondering when the politicians are going to take this issue seriously, realise that these are real people's lives and livelihoods.
They actually said that we've come here to get the disease out of the forest. As it had actually been said previously in the city that the forest was to be cleansed, and this was the cleansing.
Now, Mr Brax, I believe, has brought along the Athena Award for the Foundation's first Earth Champion, and she is Gina Litton from East Fremantle, whose award recognises her efforts to save the remaining old-growth forest in Western Australia.
We're at a critical phase of this issue. We have made significant gains, and yet the forests are still being logged. Our challenge is to bring this campaign to an end, where finally our old-growth forests are safe. The forests belong to everybody, and the vast majority of the community want them saved. The responsibility to ensure that this happens rests with all of us.